Okay. All right, let's try this again. Hello and welcome to the Poetry Slam. Oh my gosh, you sound moderately excited to be here. I know. It's 7 p.m. on Saturday. We've been going hard for days now, but who's really excited to be at the Poetry Slam? Yes! I'm Allison Brower. I'm going to be our hostess through this amazing night of poetry. Who's never been to a Poetry Slam before? Oh, a bunch of you. Make a bunch of noise for people making good decisions with their life. Yay! So what you're about to see here is a competitive poetry smackdown. I know. I think we've been doing this at CONvergence for about 10 years now, and every year it never fails to delight. I'm going to run through this list of poets that signed up, and if you're out there, will you just say here, so I'm not waiting to call anyone up. Do I have a Susanna? Here. Sherry? VM? MJ? Jose? Got it. Anyone else want to be on this list that's not on the list to compete? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. All right. Those will be our poets. Not in that order, but those will be our poets. Okay. So here's what's going to happen tonight. We're going to call these poets up. Who are these poets? Any old asshole who wandered in off the streets of CONvergence. I don't know anything about them. We're uncensored. We're open to everybody. Anything can happen tonight, okay? Audience, that's where you come in. I'm going to ask you to be very un-Minnesotan, and maybe some of you aren't from Minnesota, so this won't be as scary as it is to us Minnesotans. I'm going to ask you to participate in art this evening, okay? I'm not asking you to run up on the stage and perform. I'm not asking you to do improv when I give you a topic, but I am asking you, if a poem is funny, feel free to laugh at it, okay? All right, we can give some feedback. Poets don't always have to be serious. If a poet has a really beautiful line and you want to reward that writing that you're about to see, give it some snaps. Let's practice some snaps. Okay, all right. Oh, and if you're so touched, if you're so moved, sometimes the highest praise comes out, just a gentle, dulcet, Oh, yeah, okay. So poets, when you hear the audience just mooing at you slightly, that's high praise here tonight. I also ask you, audience, to please cheer really loud as we welcome each of these poets up here on stage tonight, because they're reading works that they have written. Everything needs to be original works here tonight. Poets, we're going to do 2 rounds of poetry here this evening. You have up to 3 minutes to do whatever you want in the name of poetry you have created. There's generally no props, no costumes, no musical accompaniments. I know some of you are in your costumes though, so cool, we'll just roll with that for tonight, okay? And poets, I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna start my timer on my phone. If you go over 3 minutes, I'm gonna turn my flashlight on so you'll see me shining that. And you're gonna be losing 1 point off of your score for every 10 seconds you go over 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Judges, I'll do the hard math. Don't worry about any of that. We're gonna do 2 rounds. We're gonna go through your first poem, and then we're gonna go backwards in the same order and reverse order in the second round, and you'll do your second poem. So we'll see our poets up here twice tonight. Poets, I know sometimes someone's like, I just brought the 1 poem, that's all I have. That's cool, we're chill here, okay? Just come poke me if you need anything. You do not need to take up to 3 minutes of time, just do your poem. But poets, your time does start when you start talking. So if you want to get up here and you want to say, the thing you need to know about my poem is when I was 7, I had a dog named Spot. Oh God, you guys wouldn't believe what Spot did that one time. That's not part of your poem, but that is part of your time, okay? So it better be a short poem after you get done telling us all your shit. Okay, so time starts when you start. The time will start taking points out at the end. We will add your 2 scores together. So a perfect score for a poet tonight is going to be a 60. And I'm talking about scores, and winners. And we're able to do that because we have 3 audience judges out there. Audience judges, can you raise your hands and your scoreboards, please? I have 1, I have 2, I have 3. Wonderful. We see them. Make a bunch of noise for our judges. Yay, that might be the last happy sounds you hear from the audience judges all night long. Judges, you have a very, very important job tonight. You're putting numerical value on people's hearts and souls as they spill them out to you on the stage. Oh, evil bastards, why would you do that? No, without you, the slam would not exist tonight. It would not be a slam. So judges, you are going to score everything from 0 to 10. A 0 is like a poem so bad, it's a poem so bad, you would say, here, Allison, take my life savings and erase that poem from my memory so I can go on with life again today. A poem, a 10 is a poem so good, it's like you will never be the same. It's as if a parade of puppies just comes in here and grants wishes for all of us and we're all just eternally happy forever. Most poems will be between those 2 things, okay? Judges, you can use a decimal point like a 7.2, an 8.6, a 9.3, that kind of thing. You're just going to have a really quick time in between each poet. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to ask you to hold up your scores. I will read them off. I will write them down. I will do the math. It's all good. Judges, can you handle this? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, judges, you have all the power in this room tonight. Audience, it is your job to sway the judges as hard as you can. So audience, if you loved that poem and you think it got a great high score, what are you gonna do? Cheer. You're gonna cheer. Yeah, okay. Wow, we have a lot of new people. I love it. Okay, and audience, if you love that poem and you think it scored way too low, what are you gonna do? Boo. Oh, you'll figure that one out. I love that. Judges, you have the whiteboards and the markers. You don't care what the audience thinks. Audience, let those judges know in an epic ruling of our wills smashing together over poetry and words and numbers here tonight. And at the end, we will rain down eternal glory on our best poet of the evening. Epic, I know. Feel free to take pictures throughout the night, but make sure your phones are in a mode where they will not disrupt, go off, make a bunch of noise when somebody's up here really sharing some good stuff with you here this evening. All right. Do you want to know the order we're going to go into tonight? Yeah, you do. All right. We're going to go VM, followed by Susanna, followed by MJ, Jose, and Sherry. And then we will reverse order that. But before we get started, we are going to have a poet who's not in the actual competition come up and just kick us off with an amazing poet. Poets, you can use paper, you can use your phones, you can be memorized, you can be off the top of your head, whatever. Feel free to use the music stand if you want. There is a light on it. Poets, please also adjust the mic so you can kind of crank it like this a little bit. The easiest thing is down here. Just give that a twist. Stop and retwist where you need to. I can help you, though, if it's scary. Okay. Awesome. So let's make a bunch of noise for our first poet of the evening, Kat!
Hey everybody, I'm Kat. I'm one of the judges, and I didn't enter because I have some stage fright, not obviously enough to not do this. So I'm just going to share with you my favorite poem that I've ever written. It's a alliteration poem. You'll get the point. Lemon lollipops. Listen here, you lippy little girl. Lonely ladies lay down low. Long legs and loose lips lick. A lovely little lady? Laughable. Lost and loathly more like. Look here, you lowly little girl. Lust leads to love, leads to leering, luring in the dark. Listen up, little girl. Let go.
and keep it going for Kat. Okay. Now, are we ready to get into the actual competition this evening? Heck yeah, we are. Make a bunch of noise as we welcome our first poet in the competition to stage, VM Stone!
This is negging. Can I make something clear? Before you consult the book twitching like a live rat in your back pocket, can we talk like people? I understand that might be difficult for you. Please understand that it is just as difficult for me because I do not love you. Stand up straight. Don't crumple like a stained napkin under the weight of soft starches and sad sauces and our equally full roster of tables for one. We really should save crumpling for later. And besides, you don't love me either. Yes, I know. You think you're clever. We're young. For us, there is no other way to think. I know, but I've read the red instructions you printed off this morning on the community college inkjet older than you. I know it promised you more pride than paper can hold, and by your face, I get it is leaking like cowardice all over your shoes. But trust me, my way is easier, because I don't have a way, apart from the hallway to the bedroom, the direction to the cleaner of the Motel 6s, or the height of a Safeway sink, because it has been 6 months since I woke up to warmth, and this time I don't care if it is simply residually heated sheets, because your palms are sweating with preemptive guilt. Even you fear, are above this, and I have forgotten how to be ashamed, because desperation breeds indifference, too weak to brew contempt. We will forget each other halfway through. The notches will not even make it through the paint of the bedpost. You might, in time, tell prettier drunks about me in an attempt to seem impressive, just as I tell prettier drunks about you to make them laugh. And we will hopefully go home with better options than the ones that led us here. We will both be superior, we will both be nameless, and neither of us will have any reason to care. That's killing you, for some reason. Did you want to hurt me? Did I laugh at the wrong time, at the wrong thing? I have been known to do that. Fragile girls don't go for this. Nor the strong, only the girls in the airless center who aren't listening for thunder any more than they're looking for light, who just need one half-decent blow to push them back to better currents. You may be a mad and howling tempest, but I've broken on better rocks. I stop my ears only for the highest quality sirens, so your cries are lost in my sails. It's nothing personal, but I only need the breeze. I'm so sorry you wanted to matter, but so few of us ever do.
Keep it going for VM! Thank you, VM. Amazing. Have people been at other shows in Wordslinger's Way? Is this your first one here? Oh, good. You can keep hanging out after this, too. We have trivia happening tonight. Super fun. All right, judges, I need you to put some scores down on your board and hold them up in the air when you're ready. Oh, Marlo, you might have to turn the lights up like one notch if you could. Let's see that. Perfect. Okay, I have a 7, I have an 8.3, And a 9.4. Give it up for the poet. Yes. Oh, is that a 9? Oh, okay, not a 7. Okay, a 9, an 8.3, and a 9.4. Okay. Right big and bold in the back. My eyes aren't what they used to be. All right, and let's make a bunch of noise for our next poet, Susanna Holt.
This is a poem inspired by Star Trek: The Next Generation, Data's poem Ode to Spot, his cat. This is a sonnet to my cat, in memory. You yowl and you scowl, darling dove. You sneeze, you wheeze, you do complain, my sweet. With me sit, and I will tell you of love. You know I love you. So now take a seat. Beloved, you sound like a truck. Old dear, one that I cherish, you look like a tree. My love, your voice is rusty to my ear. My favorite dappled light falls off of thee. Your nurture sweet, you most always provide. Your temper sharp, you very rarely show. You daintily eat, drink, and do abide, and through the calendar with me you grow. Good-natured angel, never crabby at me, favorite mine by far, my tabby cat.
Keep it going for Susanna. Oh my gosh. All right, judges, I think you know what's going on now, so put them up in the air. I have a 7.6, a 7.8, and a 9 for Susanna. Give it up for the poet. I love me some form poems. Has anyone ever heard of a sestina before? Okay, so like, for those of you that don't know, it's kind of like you take like the last word. Okay? Tell me if this is right. The last word of the last sentence, and you use it as the start of the first through the whole thing going through, right? And then you can do something wild where you like reverse it and do like a two-way sestina. So we used to run this show called the Encyclopedia Show, which was a night of fact-based art on a topic. And our topic one month was St. Louis Park, like the suburb, St. Louis Park. And I was like, I'm gonna write a sestina about St. Louis Park. And it took me so long to write this form poem. And then I read it and people were like, And then I'm like, I will never have another audience to perform this poem. And again, it was such a futile, like, waste of time, but I was so proud of myself. So yay, form poems. All right, we're gonna keep on moving. Come on in, grab some seats as we welcome our next poet to the stage. Make a bunch of noise for MJ!
So we're going to keep it going with another sonnet because I love iambic pentameter. But speak once more, my silver-tongued love, as graceful birds do sing from hearts naive. Your words descend as music from above, and offer me such welcome, sweet reprieve. The clotted ink which trails my pallid pen cannot compete with thee for beauty true. All it may show are tales of troubled men, mere shadows when beheld compared to you. Your voice alone can lift my heavy heart. Your words alone revive my deadened mind. If Zeus split souls, you are my better part. In you there thrives a spirit of my kind. So speak, sweet love, and make the heavens ring. My sorrows cease to be while yet you sing.
Yes, love it. Okay, judges, let's see what you're up to. Let's see, I have an 8, I have a 9.1, and a 9.4. Give it up for the poet. Excellent. Oh my gosh, you're all so delightful. I love this. I've just realized I've been forgetting to add everyone's scores, so now I have to do mad mental math. I can do it. I run slams every single month of my life, but I've missed 2 months of them for various weird reasons, and all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know how anything happens anymore. What's going on? All right, we'll pull it together. I feel the love from you out there. I feel like we can make it happen. Okay, we're gonna keep on moving along. Put your hands together, make a bunch of noise as we welcome our next poet, Jose!
An ode to Mass Effect 2, a video game from 2012 which I have played for over 300 utterly delightful hours. There are 12 optional companions. Can you imagine having 12 friends? Like Mordrin Solus, the scientist space salamander who will stop at nothing to undo unleashing a weapon of mass destruction upon the universe like a reverse Oppenheimer, refusing a legacy of death. The room is empty. Little more than static glow. Cacophonies of muted screams. That's how it's been for years. When I used to describe my childhood, I would repeat the worst stories I could think of so the reality wouldn't fade. Smashed my head against a wall, pouring blood down my face. I crawled for help, yelled at for the stains on the carpet, but that's not the worst part. There's a character called Jack. She was a child soldier they experimented on, and now she's older, and no one can hurt her anymore. And if you're nice to her, she starts a school on the moon to make sure no one has to go through what she did. She's got all these cool tattoos, and you can fall for each other and say goodbye before getting torn into a million fucking pieces. My first memory is getting the shit kicked out of me. And that happened every day for over a decade. I started lifting weights and boxing and wrestling, and he backed off because he could see I was getting big. But one day he couldn't help myself, and I snapped. I hurt him. Not as bad as he used to hurt me, but this time my mom calls the cops, whose solution is to bounce me off the hood of the car a few times. And after all was said and done, the worst thing I remember was how the judges and lawyers and probation officers look at you, arrogant, spiteful, hungry. Your Commander Shepard could look any way you want. I always kept my scars. He just keeps trying to tell people about these genocidal space machines, but no one believes him. How does no one believe him? Worlds are being decimated. Locusts are devouring everything. And why is no one asking why he's so traumatized? When you get close to dying, it's hard to go back to being as alive as you were. I want to remember Mass Effect 2 because it's a great fucking game. Instead, I can picture it perfectly. Moments late at night when everyone else was asleep, fearing every creak emanating from the hallway that could catch me, take away the chance to be someone else. Someone strong and brave and loved.
Keep it going for Jose. Awesome, judges. Show me some scores. I got a 9.5, a 9.7, and a 9.8. Keep it going for the poet. And make a ton of noise as we welcome to the stage our next poet, Sherry Merriam.
So I believe I'm the last person for round one, and I just want to say after hearing all of that, I quit. Yeah. So my husband, Michael Merriam, and I co-authored this series, Six Guns and Sorcery. You can find it online. I have stickers for you afterwards. This poem in the series, it's steampunk, weird western, that kind of shit. This poem was written by me, the elf blood automaton. Dora, what surprise was it that lit your face? Was it grace? Does more elven blood now run in your veins than in mine? How did it make the world shine anew for you? And what secrets did you learn as you felt the violet burn and bring the light and life within? Which flame lit, and did any other dim? And what did you gain? And what did you lose in this pact you made, unaware, unafraid? And what will befall us all as you rise to call, voiceless, peerless, fearless, to the stars that rise and fall? I have had the fortune to meet another of your kind, an automaton with a mind, made of science and art, but lacking your heart, that clever chess-playing work known as the Mechanical Turk. He had the wisdom and grace, though sealed within his place, to help me with a case and save me a bit of face. Dora, are you likewise my friend? Would you save me in the end? Your maker, such a clever young lady, though not my daughter, was once my ward, my pride, my responsibility, perhaps no more. What does that make you to me, or me to you? What are we two? It is not my cursed blood that runs in your veins, perhaps best for all, for we may make our own way of kinship. I find this the most effective call. Dora, unlike my friend the Turk, you have feet to walk this earth, so this is my benediction of a kind on this 5th anniversary of your birth. May you discover something to seek, and then know it when you find it. Thank you.
Awesome. And judges, show me those scores. I have tilted just forward a little bit. Okay, gotcha. I have a 7.6, an 8.2, and a 9.2. Give it up for the poet. And make a bunch of noise for all of the poets we just saw here in first round. How exciting. Yes. In second round, we're going to go in reverse order. So just to remind you of that, we're going to have Sherry, Jose, MJ, Susanna, and VM. And I just want to let you all know, if you're enjoying this kind of work, I'm the co-founder and co-owner of Strike Theater in Northeast Minneapolis. And we produce storytelling, spoken word, improv, and sketch comedy every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday year-round. So feel free to come check us out, strike.theater. And we'll also tell you a little bit later on about another local poetry slam. If you're like, more of this in my life, please. Some of you were at the Story Slam last night, where it's like competitive stories on a theme on July 19th. Friday, July 19th. If you want to see all the people that have won our slams up to this point come together for our Grand Slam Championship to crown the winner of 2024, you can see that right over on 18th and Central in Northeast Minneapolis at Strike Theater. So mark your calendars. I know, right? Thank you. Okay, we're going to keep on rocking. And you loved her and you missed her. Welcome back up to the stage once again, Sherry.
Thank you. I tried not to get too comfortable. I'm sorry, I should have pulled it. Okay, so this is more personal. Okay, this is pandemic era poetry, brace yourselves. Win-loss. I tire of great speeches by great men. Give me not the podium-grasping proclaimer. I heard today, save one life, you're a hero. Save 100 lives, you're a nurse. I am neither, and my number is somewhere between. Also those that I did not save. So make me no more speeches until you can say the same. Okay. All right. And then I've got a little one, also personal. I don't like bullies, she said, with a quiet rage that told you without another word what she had been through and what she would do if it ever happened again. Thank you.
Keep it going for Sherry! Yay. All right, judges, I hope you didn't forget what to do between rounds. All right, put them up in the air when you got them. Da, 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 da. I have a 7.9, an 8.4, and a 9.2. Give it up for the poet. And welcome back to the stage, Jose!
I was born near the equator. Then I moved near the equator on the other side of an uncanny shoreline, less reflection, more filter, oil, minerals, agricultural products, cheaply assembled consumer goods, militants from US-backed terror campaigns, professionals with fancy immigration lawyers, drugs worth billions of dollars, and people. When their stories are told, do they become another thing from Latin America to be consumed? US loves to act like its cannibalism is magnanimous, leave a few million bodies at the altars of white supremacist reactionaries, pretend the rest are fertilizers to be sown across your fields to raise generations, monuments, empires. Bigots and business owners laugh over how to fix a system operating exactly as intended. And aren't you lucky, amigo? Allowed grunt work for shit pay, how incredibly generous we are, but don't you dare complain about a game you've won, and I can hear the liberals beaming. Let's live up to our national value. Allow those whose democracies we've shattered, who escaped the slaughter of CIA-trained right-wing paramilitary death squads, who had no choice but to live with leaving an entire country behind rotting, allow them to be the cheap labor needed to support this massacre-based economy legally, as long as they're not too scary. Take what isn't theirs. No place for that in this country. Wouldn't dare purport to speak for an entire people. I am only qualified to hold up mirrors, exhume the dozens and dozens and dozens of times the U.S. intervened in Latin America, lay them on you lovingly and teary-eyed, all the bouquets and closure we were denied to convince you it isn't an act of charity to allow immigrants to live in the shadows cast by their homes burning to the ground. And how could our increasingly brown descendants feel anything other than indignant when they realize we did so little in a country with concentration camps and mass graves? I mean that literally, mass graves. We leave the most dangerous portions of the US-Mexico border crossing unguarded to encourage people to move through those points. Portions of those fields are weapons testing sites. We bomb refugees. If you die there, they leave you to rot. If you die at any other point during the countless days through the desert where Border Patrol agents look for water jugs left by humanitarian organizations, cut them open, emptying the contents, if you die, that should be considered murder, by the way. If you die, they anonymously throw you in a mass grave. I keep hoping this country wakes up in a cold sweat, smears the stain around its mouth, realize we cut Latin America's throats and lived off the blood for centuries. How's that for violence? How to make amends for the subjugation and genocide of an entire continent? First step might be, next time you hear something so disgustingly horrifying, try to picture they look like you, that they have for hundreds of years, like your mother, father, brother, little sister you watch Peppa Pig with and get apple juice for, and you feel what that makes you feel.
Keep it going for Jose. All right, judges, doing the hard work. Okay, we got a 9.8, a 9.9, and our first 10 of the night. And keep that energy up as we welcome back to the stage, MJ.
So for any capital R Romantic Poets fans, this is written from the point of view of Percy Bysshe Shelley about the maybe nightmares, maybe premonitions that he had shortly before his death by drowning. I saw myself out on the balcony. In shock, I could not fathom what it meant. My own enfeebled form was racked with fear. Emotionless, he turned and asked of me, "For how long do you mean to be content?" And I could only watch him disappear. That night, 2 corpses stood outside my room. Bedraggled, wet, and bleeding, they reached out. Our friends, so pale and cold with death, they cried, "The house is flooding fast, escape your doom." The window showed me water all about, and from the room I ran, most terrified. My ghost was in her room. I saw and screamed. His hands, my hands, our hands were on my wife. I watched my fingers grip her lily skin. My love awoke and swears I only dreamed. And yet I am afraid, O woeful life, to feel these ghastly omens creeping in.
Keep it going for MJ. Awesome. Look, the judges are like, got my scores, all good. Okay, we have an 8.1, a 9.2, and a 9.2. Give it up for the poets. If you're liking this kind of art and you're like, does this exist outside of CONvergence? The answer is yes. In the Twin Cities, at least, there's all sorts of small, independent, nonprofit theaters you can visit, like Strike that I mentioned before, also Huge Theater, the Phoenix Theater, and there's lots of improv that happens in bars and breweries across town. So, like, support your local arts. It's a hard time to survive the pandemic, and we're not quite back to where we used to be. So having those butts in seats, spreading the good word, bringing your friends out for a night for fun. Big ask, I know, please go have fun, is the way that we're all surviving right now. So think about supporting us outside of this weekend. All right, and let's keep on moving as we welcome back Susanna Holt.
For him, you saw my innermost heart as a treat meant for you alone. Your mouth watered at the salt of my blood and ache of my groan. Your bruising touch felt my pulse pumping as a thing you could own. You saw my twisting, turning hands as freakish peculiar, their rhythmic movements as making me something unfamiliar, their stimming motions as marking me an absolute failure. You saw my growing mind as paradox and contradiction, uncommonly innocent and in need of corruption, uncomfortably compassionate and in need of correction. You saw my legs as scrawny towers on which to start sieging, the place where they join as yours for the taking and the sharing, the chance never coming, but the conversing never stopping. My vulnerabilities, oddities, identities whole. You saw myself, my 9-year-old self, as property to hold, planting your flag in my spirit, staking your claim on my soul. It's agony to tear these perceptions away from my heart, to rip open these still throbbing scabs and let the pain flow out, to dig into these deep holes and pull out the used up bullets. It's agony, but it's how the wounds will heal better, heal more. The way you saw me then is the way I saw myself before. I'm trying to try not to see me in that way anymore.
Keep it going for Susanna. All right, judges. I have a 9.5, a 9.8, and a 9.9. Give it up for the poet. And let's welcome back to the stage one more time, VM Stone.
An education on allegiance. My father wasn't big on fairy tales. Anything too mystical, patchouli perfumed, fake as saffron gold, Dad couldn't stomach. It felt like biting into a crystal ball, and he would never bird back up those glistening shards for us. No, his summer-headed children need never stoop to swallowing what he had. This was a house of learning. Though my parents fought on everything that union held, we will teach our children. Science was the Jacob's ladder by which he'd climbed from poverty, stuck in Romani bones like 800 years of malaria. She had seen more worth saving in the stones of the Utah desert than in any tabernacle, more honor in redwoods grown unhindered than in any tithe. Dad told us histories of Galileo and Rosa Parks rocking us to sleep with the resolution of World War II. I begged for that one. But sometimes I'd sleep on the floor between my brother's cradles, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, autistic gypsy twins. I heard monsters baying, Mengele crawling towards them on black swastika legs like a spider out of hell. My parents would find me in the morning, pocket knife wrapped in my sleeping little fist. It wasn't that monsters weren't real, but the beasts were penned up, far away, feeding on strangers with my surname. I should sympathize, be grateful, be wise to their tricks, but frightened. I was reading at a 10th grade level. I could list the members of the presidential cabinet, so who could touch me? What talons would scratch my pallid skin? On March 19th, 2003, my father was cooking, while my mother folded clothes with a plastic contraption she only used when she was angry. Mom's was ever a teary rage, red-eyed and wet-nosed, sniff, snap, sniff, snap. We had an old tube television on the counter, only 2 big dials, black and white or color, mute or full volume. The towers had fallen on my brother's 6th birthday. And now manic voices squealed from this box, cheery as McDonald's cashiers. Countdown to Baghdad. Our neighbors were setting off fireworks. And my friends' parents had picked them up from school, blaring country music through Lexus speakers, but my house was silent. It's the wrong place, I said. Baghdad's not in Afghanistan. I looked up the map in our encyclopedia. We're making a mistake. It had to be that. Or else this was the sort of thing that monsters would do. Dad pushed his face into an easy shape and told me stories, how Grenada only lasted 12 hours, how the Finns once lost no men in battle and gained a Swede, but the way he told it was wrong. For the first terrible time, I heard my father tell me a fairy tale. He set me on his lap as the cheers grew louder than the jet engines. Mom covered her face while neon numbers ticked down like New Year's Eve, and in accordance with American expectations, I was psychic. For one moment, in one place, I saw other little girls on other fathers' laps, between the beds of other brothers, huddling from shadows that ran right up to my heels. Are we going to hurt people? The bombs fell and my father snapped the sound off, holding me a little tighter with every voiceless blast.
Keep it going for VM Stone. All right. I have an 8.8, a 9.4, and a 9.8. Give it up for the storyteller. Okay, I'm going to do some math, and while I do that, I'm going to invite Jose to come up here and tell you about the Buck Slam. All right, come on up. Welcome back, Jose, to the stage.
Hi, my name's Jose. Every second Wednesday over at Moon Palace Books, doors open at 6:30, show starts at 7 o'clock. We have a poetry slam. I am one of the organizers. There are 3 other lovely organizers. They are not currently here. But if you want to meet them, 6:30, Moon Palace Books, every second Wednesday. You're all invited to either listen or perform poetry, because it's a slam, just like this. You know what a slam is. You just did one. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Support the slams, support your local theater. And also, if you're thinking again, maybe you just come to CONvergence from out of state or something like that, or from outstate even. If there's a show you want to do, we program this room by application. They usually open January through March, and you can put in an application that says hey, I'm Jose, and I want to bring my Buck Slam team here to put on a poetry showcase, or hey, my friends and I want to do an hour of art, sketch, improv, comedy, whatever it is about Pokemon, whatever you want to do, just submit, and you too can get a spot on the stage for next CONvergence. All right, let's make a bunch of noise for all of the poetry we saw here tonight. Thank you, poets. Let's make a bunch of noise for our judges. They had a hard job this evening. And all right, let's do a drum roll for the moment we've all been waiting for. In third place tonight, we have MJ. In second place tonight, we have VM Stone. And our winner at this year's CONvergence Poetry Slam is Jose. Thank you so much, everyone. Come back in about an hour. We have trivia lasting till 11 o'clock. And enjoy the rest of your evening at CONvergence. Be safe, have a good time, and we hope to see you in Wordslinger's Way again real soon. Bye, y'all.